What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this Sunday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? We're here to talk some Arizona Cardinals, and of course, I got my guy Mythic AZ. What's up, brother? How are you doing? I guess just personally, right? I think we all kind of know the result of the Arizona Cardinals versus Commanders, but man, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. And then outside of the Cardinals game, life's going pretty good. How are you?
Good, yeah. I mean, I can't complain, right? I think we're all kind of in a situation where we're a little, I guess I would say on edge. There's definitely some good things we want to talk about in this game. That's what we're going to be diving into here today. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it, right? I think that's kind of what everybody's here for. Definitely shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. Got Jasmine, Robert, Brizo, Classy Nasty. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. All right, let's dive right into it, right? Without further ado, let's just talk about this. All right, Cardinals versus Commanders. Cardinals lose 20-16, right? 4-point difference. What do you want to say? I think for the most part, everybody here on this channel kind of know what I have. So what is your thoughts on this game? I guess it's just a brief overview. What are your thoughts, man?
So going into this, I feel like the expectations for this team, even just nationally, was we are going to be the worst team in the NFL. And I feel like we did come into this game and shattered expectations, but from Cardinals fans and just everyone and me and you, our perspective on this game, we thought we were going to win. We really did. We really thought we were going to come out here and we were going to win. And throughout the entire game, we had a shot. The offense just let us down. The defense stepped up big. We had big-time players, Dennis Gardick, Zaven Collins. We had players who were honestly balling out. And then who was the guy who we just picked up? Kevon, what's his last name? It's a corner.
Wallace.
Kevon Wallace.
Yeah.
He came in here and he was balling out. Marco Wilson was walking up as a CB1. I mean, he had that one bad pass interference, but outside of that, he looked great. And then offensively, we had some players. It's just one guy in particular. One guy, Joshua, man.
Mr. Joshua Dobbs, this man right here. We're going to dive into that here pretty soon. I know there's a lot to dive into for Joshua Dobbs, but yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I think when it comes down to it here as Cardinal fans, I know there's a lot of pessimistic Cardinal fans out there. I mean, obviously you have your own channel, so I'm pretty sure you got your own social medias that you're hearing everybody saying Cardinals aren't going to do good, right? But dude, I agree. I think we did shatter expectations in terms of being able to contend with a NFL team. That's one thing we did, right? Because
absolutely,
the Commanders came in here, and I'm not sure if you ever talked to any Commanders or if you made a preview video, but man, Commanders fans were going in on the Cardinals. They were saying things like, we're going to destroy you. Why do you guys have so much high hope? And the Cardinals actually stood still. They actually held their ground and, was leading for a good portion of the game. And unfortunately, the fourth quarter happened. And I guess the rest is history from there. But we held our own. I think we did a really good job here defensively. If I were to ask you here real quick, what is one player you would want to give your MVP to?
Ooh, so there's two players, and one of them that I'm going to rock with is Dennis Gardick. Dennis Gardick came into this, and he was balling out. I know a lot of people don't view Dennis Gardick as an elite edge rusher, and that is completely understandable because I don't view him as that either. But going into this game, Dennis Gardick finished the game with 2 sacks and a forced fumble that led to a Cam Thomas. I do this all the time. This isn't the first time I've done that. Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. It just happens for me. For some reason, my brain interlocks them. But Cam Thomas recovered it for a touchdown off of a Dennis Gardick sack. they made big time plays. So that's who I'm rocking with as my MVP. I feel like it's one of two players or one of three players. And I'm going to rock with Gardecki.
Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely did a fantastic job here. And I think you said one of two players, right? I think the other player here that we got to obviously know is this man right here, Zaven Collins. Now, I think we both kind of were in the same boat when we drafted him. I don't think we were the biggest fans of it, but man, once we seen him in this JG Nick Riley's off or defense, he's looking pretty good, right? Fumble recovery. Now, he wasn't the one who actually punched the ball out, but fumble recovery he did, and an interception in this game. Just a playmaker that we've seen so far in week 1, and I think he's definitely noted for a MVP for this game, along with Dennis Gardeck. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Zaven Collins wasn't the biggest fan of him, but going into JG's defense, I mean, you can't deny it. He looks good.
Yeah.
Coming off as an edge rusher, and he has the coverage ability. We know he has that. That is what his strengths are. He's a great cover linebacker, but he just wasn't doing anything in the NFL. And then coming into this game, he gets the big-time interception dropping back, and then he also recovers it off of the Victor Dimukeje fumble. So I love it, man. It's those two players that stepped up big for us. Unfortunately, it didn't result into a win, but those are our MVPs for sure.
So close, man. We were so close. This was a winnable game. I think that's what the frustrating part is. And I know, like, when I made my post-game reaction, I ended up coming off live from doing it for Bleacher Report. And it's kind of good because it gives me an opportunity to kind of really come down and simmer down. Because obviously I was a little, I wasn't heated. I wasn't. I was actually pretty, I guess, what's the best word? This was a very good result. I wasn't heated, but I was also heartbroken at the same time because I did expect a win from this game. But let me get to my guy's contribution here. We got BBH saying, I see a different team. They fought till the end. What are your thoughts on this?
I think people are buying in. Like we previously mentioned, I think they're buying in to Jonathan Gannon. I really do. Even though he seems corny and he has that mentality of we want killers. And not a lot of people bought into that. But I feel like the team overall is bought in, and you can see that week 1. The team is bought in. They want to play for him. I think the culture is getting built. It's 1 week, but I feel like we can see it coming together.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right on that. We do have a team that's bought in, and I think that's what you need, right? That's what you need when you're coming down to these type of games where, especially when your backs are against the wall or most people have kind of given up on you. And I mean, a lot of national media doesn't really talk about the Cardinals, and that's fine. But like, there's a lot of Cardinal fans too that just doesn't really care this season. And I guess they're buying into the national media's storyline, and it sucks that we got this loss. Yeah, the perception. It sucks we got the loss because I think we fought to the bloody end. I really, truly do. But I did put this here on my Twitter account here. I want them to be killers, man. I don't know why he got so much flack for this. I truly don't.
I don't know. I really don't. I feel like he just has the goofy, I don't know what it is. Cause I got hyped watching it personally.
Me too.
I was like, you know what? Let's run through a brick wall for this guy. But everyone on Twitter, it's just he's goofy. He just doesn't have it. I wouldn't want to play for this guy. What is wrong with him? But me personally, it was a complete thing. I got hyped. Yeah. Maybe I'm biased, but I got hyped watching that.
Do you think it's the impractical jokers?
Go. Yeah.
Do you think it's that Murr guy that everybody compares him to?
So.
That's probably what it is, man.
Ever since the hire, you got the comparisons. So you probably got that just goofy look for the rest of it. And you're gonna get those comparisons. But you win games, people shut up. Look at Nick Sirianni. Look at him.
Absolutely. You win games, people shut up. That's the absolute truth. All right. So anything else on the defensive side of ball that you want to talk about? Or actually, what we should do is we should actually give kudos to the other people who got involved, right? Because although, yes, we did get MVPs in this game, we got multiple people with sacks in this game. Let's name a few here that we have. Let me go and bring up the stats here. Carlos Watkins. Didn't really know too much about him coming in. Sack. Jonathan Ledbetter. Sack. Who else? Victor Dimukeje. Sack. Licky Fotu. Sack. Dude, everybody was eating.
People were getting involved. Everyone was getting to the quarterback. That is what you love to see.
Yeah.
For something that was viewed as not a strength, the defensive line and the corners in the secondary stepped up today. Everyone on defense looked phenomenal.
I agree.
And they were out there on the field all the time. So the fact that they only allowed 20 points and they were on the field for as much as they were, I don't know what the time of possession was. Do you have that pulled up?
I got it right here. Yeah, so time of possession, It was actually closer than I thought.
It was
So
close.
the Washington Commanders had it for 31 minutes and 24 seconds, where we had it for 28 minutes and 36 seconds.
Okay, so that's a lot closer than I
Yeah.
thought it was, but it felt like the defense was on the field for a long period of time, and for some reason they were just holding a three, and they gave up that touchdown early on, which kind of sucked. But from then on, I mean, they were balling out, and then towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, things got pretty ugly in that second half. We were up, I believe, 4, and then scored 3 for the rest of it. So it's just a dagger to the heart.
Absolutely. All right, we got another contribution coming our way. BBH says, if this was still Cliff, we would have knew first quarter it was over. But with JG in the defense, they adjusted and started rolling. Culture shock indeed. Yeah, I agree.
There.
There is something to be said about this team looks different, right? It does. And I know when I put that here on Twitter, of course, they're going to get those people saying, oh, yeah, they look different. But they do. They fought to the end. I mean, regardless if we didn't win or we did win, this team fought to the end. I wish I could say the same for the offense, but the defense fought through the damn end.
The defense fought their hearts out, and I respect everything that this defense is about. I mean, they gave 115% through the entire game. They don't want to lose.
Yeah, I agree. So we've given a lot of love to the defense. Let's give a little criticism to the fact that at one point there was one series where the Arizona Cardinals defense gave up 67 yards in penalties. Oh, man, we were flying to the ball. We were killers when it seems like we were actually doing what JG, I guess, taught. But, I think we need to be a little smarter when it comes down to, obviously, late hits, quarterback hits. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because Kaiser Watt was flying, but, man, he's a brutal hitter. What are your thoughts
on him? He will smack you in the mouth, and there will be no relent with him. You saw it. I mean, you got to be more disciplined. You can't smack a quarterback going out of bounds with how the quarterback rules are nowadays. You got to have that discipline. And then Marco Wilson giving up 50 yards to Terry McLaurin on a pass interference on the left sideline. You just can't do that. That's a huge play. That resulted in a touchdown, I believe, that drive later on, if I'm not mistaken. It allowed in points. You can't do that. You can't allow 50 yards when it was second or third down. You just can't do that.
Yeah, Kaiser White, I think he's definitely, as advertised, a guy that knows Jonathan Gannon, but more than all, I mean, obviously Jonathan Gannon knew what he was bringing over from Philly, and this guy's as advertised, man. He doesn't care who he's hitting, man. It's just he could be smaller than the guy. He doesn't care. He's almost kind of like a Buda Baker.
You're getting popped.
Yeah, you're getting popped indeed. So I guess that's the little criticism that I have against the defense, because I believe, let me see what the total penalties was. So it was 122 yards. Now, granted, it wasn't all just defense, but we had 9 penalties, 122 yards to their 8 penalties, 69 yards. So
50 yards in penalties.
Yeah.
That difference is unacceptable. You got to clean it up, but if that gets cleaned up, I mean, that could shape games.
Yeah.
That really could. So, and penalties were something this Cardinals team has been very bad at, even with Cliff. Cliff's teams were way worse. I mean, it was false starts, holdings left and right. So the offense cleaned it up a little bit. We just got to clean up on defense as well. And obviously the offense isn't off the loose, but, the defense did have some pretty costly penalties as well. So we just got to clean it up. We even had a roughing the passer, I believe. So clean them up.
It's what we got to do, man. Just clean it up. All right. Well, let's move over here to, I guess, the biggest thing that people want to talk about here, right? The offense. I'm going to allow you to go first, if you don't mind. I know the big talking point is going to be this man right here, Mr. Joshua Dobbs, QB1 for the Arizona Cardinals for week 1. What are your initial thoughts on how he played? And do you think there might be a change later? Go ahead.
Okay, going into week 2, I don't think there will be a change, because if we're being fair to the guy and to the quarterback, he has only been here for 2 weeks. Right? The guy's been here 2 weeks, almost won us a football game. So I don't think they're going to lean into another direction yet. Now, could that change going into next game? Maybe it's halftime and we're not putting up points. Yes, I think Clayton Tune is ready to rise up. I think they're pretty interchangeable. I think quarterback is inevitable to be switched if Josh Dobbs has another performance like this. So if he's given another week, Clayton Tune could be the quarterback going into the second half or even to week 3. It's just all dependent on how Josh Dobbs plays, in my opinion. I think he'll get the nod. That's just me. I think Clayton Tune's a smarter option, but I just think as a realist and just where the team is, I think it's going to be Josh Dobbs. What do you feel?
Um, honestly, it's so hard because looking at what Josh Dobbs did, 21 out of 30, 132 yards, four quarters. You can't win games like that. And if you think about it, I think last time I looked, the Giants are losing to the Cowboys as of right now, as the game
I
is
think it was
going
like
on.
15-0. They blocked a
Yeah.
field goal and then they got a field. I don't remember what happened, but I saw the blocked field goal for a touchdown.
Yeah, so right now it's 19-0. Cowboys are beating the Giants, but expectations and what was kind of led coming into this year, the Giants should be better than the Washington Commanders.
Yes,
Daniel Jones is better than Sam Howell. Do we agree with that?
absolutely. I'm not a big Sam Howell believer.
Yeah. Do you think that the Arizona Cardinals have the leeway to say, okay, Joshua Dobbs, I understand 2 weeks wasn't enough, but that was the decision of the Arizona Cardinals to do so, right? To say, okay, 2 weeks, we think you're enough.
Just throw him into the fire.
Throw him
They
into
did
the
it.
fire, right? So now here's my question. What do we need to see, I guess, as a fan base or as a coaching staff? And obviously that's more of a question for JG, but what else does he need to see to be convinced that he might not be the guy moving forward? Now, I get it. I get the other side where it's 2 weeks, right? But it was your decision to put him in there with 2 weeks. I'm not convinced that the tanking option that we've talked about before, like if we put Clayton Tune, the Cardinals will tank. No, I don't think so. I don't think Joshua Dobbs played better than a Clayton Tune would. We never seen Clayton Tune in 4 quarters. Now, granted, we only seen him in preseason. I get it. But this man knows football. He put 40 touchdowns on a collegiate level last year. You're meaning to tell me that he's not at least a considerable option with more time with these wide receivers? Now, here's one thing that Joshua Dobbs did say in his post game. He needs to get better with the connection and chemistry with the wide receivers. Isn't
And
that
we
what we
brought
were
this
talking
up.
about?
We brought it up. We literally talked about this.
No, duh, right? No. And I'm not saying no duh to Joshua Dobbs because he's right. He's absolutely saying that, but that's the thing. If we knew that as fans, right? Just
The
sitting here on our
coaches.
couch watching the game, why doesn't that kind of cross the mind of Jonathan Gannon or this coaching staff? Because truthfully, you might know the playbook of Drew Petzing,
Yep.
but you don't have the connection with the wide receivers or the tight end or the running backs. Now, he made some good plays. I got to give kudos to where kudos is due. But to me, going into a game, not looking at the score right now that we're seeing, right? Cowboys are destroying the Giants, not looking at that score. But the Giants, to me, are a better team than the Commanders. Do we have the leeway to allow this much, I guess, leash to a Josh Dobbs? Because 132 yards is not going to cut it against that defense and against that offense. Saquon Barkley, anybody heard of him? One of the best running backs out there. They can control a game. So that's my concern, where I understand where people are coming from. 2 weeks, it's not a lot. And I agree. He was thrown into the fire. But that was the decision of JG. He said, you know this offense. We're going to throw you in there. 132 yards is not knowing this offense, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I really do. I just think that connection with Drew Petzing is going to get Josh Dobbs the leeway going into week 2. And I don't agree with it necessarily after the performance I saw today. I think in practice, evaluation needs to be done because we can't evaluate because we don't go to practices. We're not watching every single throw they're making at practice. So we really can't make that decision. But at the end of the day, these coaches need to look into it. After 132 yards, like he might have passed 70%, but for 132 yards on 30 pass attempts, it's not going to win you football games. So it needs to be evaluated. You know what you got. You got a rookie quarterback. Just see what he has, just see what he has.
Well, that's my thought too. Like, I get it, right? I get the perspective that Joshua Dobbs is coming in here for 4 games, 5 games, right? Like that, at least that's the perception, just depending on when Kyler Murray's coming back or when he's healthy enough to come back. But yeah, 132 yards is not going to cut it. None of our offensive players scored a touchdown. So we're not going to just point this all on Dobbs, right? Our running game didn't score a touchdown. Our passing game didn't score. Everything was all special teams and a scoop and score from our defense in terms of the points that we have here on the board. But what if we do start off 0-2, right? And we do put Clayton Tune in there, where those are valuable reps that Clayton Tune could use in game 1 and game 2. because Joshua Dobbs is a backup quarterback. Let's call it as it is, right? You're gonna call a zebra a zebra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a backup quarterback. That's what he is. And I feel like we're almost trying to convince ourselves that he is the right option. I don't think he is. If we
I don't
lose
either.
in this sort of way, right? If Clayton Tune came in here, he would have been crucified. I promise you. We would have heard people say, Joshua Dobbs. Why do we go for... I have almost promised you we would at least score a touchdown with Clayton Tune. Might be too much of my high horse, but I don't know, man. I don't think there will be a change either. I truly don't. I agree with you. I don't agree with what they're going to do because I truly do believe that Joshua Dobbs is going to start, but I fear 0-2. I fear 0-3. I fear 0-4. And then when Kyler Murray does decide to come back, you're climbing an uphill battle there. You're climbing an uphill battle to even be relevant in the NFC. So that's kind of my concern. And I get it, right? Already people are talking about 2024. Come on, y'all. Let's focus on 2023.
Have some optimism because there is some here. So, I agree. I think Clayton Tune at least needs to be evaluated within practice, like heavily, like they say they will, because they said it could be interchangeable. I don't remember the exact word, but they said both of these quarterbacks basically have a legit shot to start. So I need them to legit evaluate this, see in practice if Clayton Tune deserves a shot, because I do. From a outsider's perspective, I think Clayton Tune is just kind of like, it's a rookie. Why not? Just throw him into the fire just like you're doing to Josh Dobbs. And if not, at least be ready to make that adjustment at halftime if Josh Dobbs starts it bad, because I don't want to start 0-2. And I don't think anyone within the organization wants to start 0-2. So they're on the same boat. They just got to be ready to either make that switch or make the switch now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's see what happens, right? Because I think there was a comment out on the Twitter world. I believe I think it was Josh Weinfist from ESPN. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe he said that like Joshua Dobbs doesn't like he feels confident that he's going to be a starter. Now, obviously, what else is he supposed to say, right? He's like, I'm going to get benched. He's not going to say that. So I don't know. I just hope that the evaluation is truly something that this organization is doing, and it's not just we're going to go with the veteran.
Yeah.
Let's stick with the offense. Who's some offensive players that you like to see today?
I think Hollywood Brown within his role did pretty well. He wasn't getting a ton of targets, but when the ball came his way, he was catching it. He was coming down with it. He was doing his thing. And then, I don't know. Offense is hard.
Yeah.
It really is. Like James Conner did okay. He averaged over 4 yards a carry, which is really good. So not mad there. No one got into the end zone, so it's kind of hard to nitpick.
True.
But I did like a couple of the actions that Drew Petzing had with the Rondale Moore, getting him involved. I feel like we need to get more screens involved early, not like Cliff did, where you just do it every single player, every single drive. But he had some nice touches, and even like the wheel route that he had on the right the right sideline. He had the wheel route where Josh Dobbs, perfect pass right on the money. He was wide open, outran like a linebacker, if I believe. I like to see action like that where there's mismatches. I like to see it. I really do. So I'm a little excited to see what happens with Kyler, and we saw the bootlegs and we saw all this. So it's interesting to see what Kyler can do. But for offensive MVPs, I think Hollywood and James Conner are probably the two. And Hollywood didn't even have a crazy game, but for what he could do, I feel like he did really well.
Yeah, no, I agree with the rushing stats here. James Conner, obviously 14 carries, 62 yards. Marquise Hollywood Brown, 1 carry, 29 yards. And that's I believe that jet sweep that we ended up seeing. Really, really good play call, especially during that time where it was almost kind of like a trick. Where, Marcus Hollywood Brown ends up coming up and gets a lot of yards. Rondale Moore did get involved as well, 2 carries, 12 yards. Joshua Dobbs, 3 carries, -3 yards. Keontae Ingram, I was so surprised that every time he was on the field, man, even including that wildcat that we put him in there under center, or I guess it was under center more than anything, and he just couldn't do anything. He had -4 yards with 5 carries. What are your thoughts on Keontae?
It was a rough showing for Keontae, to say the least. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't remember who I said it with, but I said James Conner is going to be a back we're going to see 80 to 85% of the field because we really don't have a number 2. We just don't. We don't have a Chase Edmonds who can help us out in the pass game. We don't have a Chase Edmonds who can take off some pressure and still get 4 yards a carry. We really don't have that. So James Conner's basically an every down back, which is kind of concerning knowing his injury history. It's kind of concerning. I'm not saying Keontae Ingram can't come in and ball out because I still like Keontae, but after watching this, getting live reps in a regular season game, it is concerning to see that he basically did nothing.
Yeah, every time he got the ball, man, he just got hit in the backfield every single time. And there was fight. It's not like he was just going down willy-nilly. It's just they knew what they were going to do. And unfortunately, he couldn't really do very much.
That is absolutely true.
Let's see. So let's look up to the receiving yards. Rondale Moore led it. 3 receptions, 33 yards. Marquise, 3 receptions, 28 yards. Trey McBride, we ended up seeing him. He got, I guess he didn't get more receptions, but he got more yards. 2 receptions, 23 right? yards. Yeah. 23. And then Zach Ertz, 6 receptions, 21 yards.
And speaking of Zach Ertz, Josh Dobbs had that one pass that sailed just a little high for a touchdown.
That touchdown. Oh, bro, that was a touch. I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Little sail. Just the ball needs to come this far down. Easy catch. I hit his hand, so you can argue that he should come down with it.
True.
That's true. Lower, this much lower, and we're walking away with 6 on that drive. And Zach Ertz is coming off an ACL tear, so I'm not gonna give him crap for dropping 2 passes today and 1 for a touchdown, but that play hurt today.
I honestly forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. I completely forgot we actually had an opportunity to get a touchdown. Dang, that's right. Yeah, man, we'll have to kind of wait and see, right? We'll have to kind of wait and see. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things here to see what JG is going to do with this offense, if he's going to continue, because we need to see better than this 133 yards next game. If that's if that's what he's going to do again, and he puts this on the field, I don't even know how this fan base is going to react. I truly don't.
And this Giants defense has the potential to be better than the Commanders. So
yeah, 100%.
Just keep that in mind, because even though he has a week, that week might not mean anything because you're going up against better defense. So
exactly, and a better team too,
or a team projected better defense, because right now they're kind of getting smacked over by Dallas. But
touche.
The projected better defense, because the Commanders do have a solid defense. That whole NFC East is stacked. But come on, man. I mean, the Giants could come in here and give us real problems. So 133. Not going to cut it. Not even close to cutting it.
Close. I agree. I'm looking at, oh, wow. And now it even got worse. Dallas Cowboys 26-0 Giants. So, yeah, they're getting smacked right now. Let's continue here. Zach Pascal, nothing. One of our very few acquisitions from free agency. Hasn't really done very much. What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know. He was an Eagles guy, right? Zach Pascal. An Eagles guy, if I'm not mistaken.
I knew he was with the Colts, and he might have been with the Eagles, but very limited because obviously AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, you're not gonna get them off the field. Mm-hmm. I believe he was with them just a little bit.
Okay, I don't know. He just hasn't brought much.
Yeah,
he's got swag. But besides that, I mean, there's not much.
The 0 was pretty nice. That number 0
with the black visor looks pretty dope. But outside of that, I mean, you're not doing much on the field. It's kind of rough. The receiving core is kind of thin. I mean, Michael Wilson looked pretty decent today.
Yeah.
In terms of run blocking, he had a couple great blocks on the field where I'm like, you know what? You're not getting catches, but you're doing the dirty work.
I mean, if you think about it in hindsight, Michael Wilson, 2 receptions, 19 yards. Rondale Moore, which is the guy who led our team in yards, 33. We're talking about what, 24 more yards from a rookie to a guy. And not just Rondale Moore.
For 3 years.
Yeah, including Marquise Hollywood Brown, because he only had 3 receptions, 28 yards. So in hindsight, Michael Wilson as a rookie coming in here, sheesh.
He did his thing. I mean, the quarterback can't get anybody the ball. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you do what you can. You're run blocking as a big body receiver. And I mean, he did it. He did everything you can do. You know, you're not getting targets. I'm gonna go do my role, and he did his role. I can't wait to see. Like I said, when Kyler comes back, how these receivers explode, because we have playmakers. And with the offense that it looks like we're going to be running with bootlegs and jet sweeps and little screen passes, even to tight ends, I am so excited. I don't know if that's going to get Zach Pascal involved, though. But We got other players.
We'll have to wait and see. Let's get rid of guys. AZ fan, he says, I can say I'm proud of the defense, but the penalties killed us. Then the interior offensive line didn't hold up. They're going to come back. They'll win.
Yeah.
I like the optimism. Giants are going to be pretty tough.
Giants are going to be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, right now, don't look at the scoreboard for the Sunday Night Football game, but that team's projected like to be better.
Daniel Jones is out here with as many completions as picks right now. So.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. What's up, Jason? He says Isaiah Simmons looks horrible. Great. Awesome. That's what I want to hear.
Right?
I'm not even watching the game right now.
I'm not either.
It's something to be said when your team doesn't win. You don't really want to watch more football. When they do win, you somehow find yourself in front of the TV. I'm not sure if you're the same
all day for Monday Night Football. It depends, like sometimes.
Yeah.
Like depends on the matchup. If it's a blowout or something, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like sometimes I can't stand it. Like today, I'm cool. I can go watch it. But if it's a blowout like it is right now in Dallas, I'm not turning that on. I'm not turning that on. I'll watch tomorrow's game. I'm not turning this on. Give me a nice little refresh of the brain going into a better game tomorrow too. Josh Allen versus A-Rod. I'd rather watch that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge game here. All right, let's continue here with this. I saw somebody in the chat here says they need to target Michael Wilson more.
Yeah, I feel like it's tough though with Josh Dobbs back there.
Yeah,
because I feel like they are running that vanilla like base, just like don't get the ball into the other people's hands kind of offense. It's like, okay, listen, we're going to run a very restricted offense with you. And I feel like that's kind of what we saw, like bootlegs, just don't mess it up. But you can't really win with Josh Dobbs game managing the whole game. You're not taking any shots. There were like no shots. I don't know what the longest pass was, but there's no way it was over 16 yards. Right? I don't know. But there's like no way it could have been over 15, 16 yards. There's just no way.
Yeah, he didn't really throw the ball deep at all. I mean, he did a couple of times and they were out of bounds. It almost kind of seemed like he was throwing it away more than anything. I don't know. Just that deep accuracy, I don't feel like it's there. And it's kind of hard because the sample size isn't really there to kind of really evaluate or really take a look at it. But like, I don't know, man. This was it. This was the chance right here, this game.
And if we win this, it's complete different outlook on the season too, because then it's like the legit, like, oh, we're not tanking. Like you got like everyone like kind of on board with us, and we're like, okay, you're not tanking. I think they can see that now. I feel like everyone's like collectively like, okay, we're not tanking. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that too. And here's the thing too, like, and I remember saying this like in my very first videos before the season started. As long as I saw a competitive team, right, do the blood again and not getting blown out, I'll be happy, right? Obviously, I'm not happy with the loss, but that's why I'm not upset. I'm not. Do I feel like we kind of missed out on a golden opportunity to change the narrative for this organization? Yes, I do feel like we let it slip out of our hands because of our inability to score a freaking point on offense. Yeah. So. Yes, I do believe we let it slip. I'm not mad because I do have some promise, but if this continues, I'm not going to be a happy camper.
That is
supposed to be getting better and better and better and better.
I want to see improvement. Like I don't want to just see upset after upset where it's like every game I'm going into this like, oh, you know what? We showed potential. Like I want to see wins. Yeah. I want to see it translate. Like I want to see these close games. I want to see the penalties eliminated. I want to see all the mistakes eliminated. I want to see this offense put points on the board. Like I want to see this team come together throughout the season, even if we don't make the playoffs, which I don't think we really will. Yeah, as a realist, but I want to see this team put together wins and maybe walk away with 5 or 6. I just want to be competitive.
I agree. I agree. Let's take a look here at the first downs. The Arizona Cardinals had 13 first downs. Our third down efficiency, we're 4 out of 14. Oh, I mean, that's not, I mean, the Commanders were 4 of 12. I mean, I guess percentage, they're a little better than us, but
I wouldn't say the Commanders did good though. That's the thing. The Commanders didn't have a good offensive performance. That's like the nagging like outlier for them. It's kind of like the offense needs to step up. Sam Howell can't put up 199, a touchdown, a pick, and a fumble or 2 fumbles. You can't do that.
Yeah. Oh man, we had this freaking game.
We did.
That's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with.
Because the defense even put up a touchdown. Like the defense scored, and our offense could put up 1. That Zach Ertz touchdown could have sent us to overtime. I went back and kind of like talked about that. That Zach Ertz touchdown, it would have been 4 more points because we walked away with 3. I would have tied it. And if
Yeah.
we walked away 2020, that's an OT game. I don't know if the
Oh,
offense would have done anything, but
you're saying
I mean, it would have been an OT game.
I mean, that would have been nice having a little extra time to see what this Cardinal team could do in OT. But man, the defense came out and they showed out. Did you end up catching JG's press conference post game?
I did not. I watched probably 30 seconds of it, and that's about it.
Yeah, didn't really say very much.
He didn't.
You know, a lot of the same questions asked. He saw a lot of good things, pretty much exactly what we said. But obviously, the big glaring thing is that penalties need to be cleaned up. They were very costly penalties for the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately. 122 yards worth of penalties. Not going to cut it.
He addressed that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He just said that, obviously they're gonna look back at the tape and do their best to clean it up. It's, I don't expect anything else, anything different. It's just the results, right? What are we going to say? Are we going to see results? That's the big question.
You can say so much, but what you see on the field tells all. So,
yeah. So we allowed 3 sacks and then they allowed 6 sacks. Yeah. Cardinals the defensive line. What's a position that impressed you that you didn't have, I guess, that high hopes for going into this game that impressed you in this game?
I would say there's 2 group positions. First, the D-line came and they outperformed everything. 6 sacks, I wouldn't have expected that. I would have said 3 max. So the fact they doubled that, and that would have been my cap at 3.
Yeah.
Is crazy. And then corners. Who was their best receiver? I don't remember. I know was it Curtis Samuel for 54 yards? Terry McLaurin was shut down. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
I get Sam Howell wasn't doing anything really great, but that is impressive. Terry McLaurin was locked down. Curtis Samuel was their best receiver with 54 yards.
Yeah, 54 yards, 5 receptions, and Logan Thomas, their tight end, which was a former Cardinal
legend.
Yeah, 4 receptions, 43 yards, and then Jahad Dotson, 5 receptions, 40 yards. But McLaurin, 2 receptions, 31 yards. But he got that big crucial PI called for him. Yeah,
but the corners did impress me though. I would have never. I thought someone would pop off for 80 for sure.
No, you're 100% right. 100%
didn't happen. So the D line and the corners really came in here and shocked me. What positions impressed you? I'm curious to hear.
I think you're 100% right. It's crazy because the way I looked at it, and when I did my preview video, I said the opposite. I was like, I think we're a little bit more confident with the offense, but the defense is what I'm scared with. Stupid take. Dumbest thing I said all my life. It was a complete, absolute polar opposite. This defense is what I'm more sure of. And I should have known because JG is a defensive-minded head coach, bringing in Nick Rallis. And then the offense, the only reason why I thought that the offense was a little bit more established is because we got some named wide receivers. And Zach Ertz being our tight end, I thought we were going to be a little bit more flashier. Although I'm going to say Drew Petzing, I think he called a really good game. It would be better if Dobbs were connecting with our wide receivers / tight ends, but I do agree with you with the whole idea of the defensive line and the cornerbacks. I think the defensive line more than the cornerbacks, but definitely they impressed me for sure. Keitrell Clark, did we see him? It almost kind of seemed, I know Marco Wilson was there for sure. Keitrell Clark was on the other side, right?
Yeah. And then you had Kavan out there as well.
Crazy. Yeah, Wallace, right?
Yeah, Kavan Wallace, someone we just picked up off waiver wire a couple weeks ago, which is crazy because he came in this game and made impact plays. It's a bunch of people.
Less than 2 weeks, man. Less than 2 weeks. He's already making plays.
That's just the story of the Cardinals, at least defensively, not offensively. I'll tell you that much.
We got my guy here. Joey says, I was hoping to see more Greg Dortch. What are your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't be mad with more Greg Dortch. I really wouldn't. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of like him and Rondale Moore in a very similar role in terms of what they could provide. And I think you rock with Rondale Moore. And it's tough because if you can't get Greg Dortch involved, he is our return man. So at least he's out there at some facilities. But I kind of get it. But at the same time, if Rondale Moore is healthy, I feel like you got to give him the nod. I would love to see more Greg Dortch. Yeah. Love Greg Dortch, but it's just so hard with interchangeable roles. You need big body receivers. You can't just have 5'8" receivers running out on the field. You got to have some big bodies, right? You can't have Hollywood at like 5'9". You can't have Moore at like 5'9" and then Greg Dortch at 5'8". It's just it's not going to look good, especially if you're trying to run the ball. Those corners are going to look like elite tacklers with those
rolling our
run blocking. So I feel like it's tough to get all three of those guys on the field. Maybe some more packages, including him. I don't know. It's tough. Maybe the only time I can see him really coming in the game is in like a spread set, like genuinely like a 4-out with the tight end. That's like the only time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I know he was doing some punt returns and kick return. I don't feel like he really did very much at that very last one, like the very last play. I believe that was Greg Dortch. There's a lot of dancing. I understand he was trying to make a play, to trying to like keep us alive. It's just at that point it was cooked, man. The Cardinals were done. It was done for. And here's the thing. I think one thing that I guess I would also say too is that the only reason why I feel like they actually scored points, the Commanders, is that because of us. Like it was self-inflicted wounds from us. Like we did it. I don't think they did anything that really impressed me that says, oh man, right, watch out, we got blown out. No, we beat ourselves. And that goes for both touchdowns, whether it was that PI that helped them kind of go in or multiple other penalties that helped them get closer and closer to getting within it, because Sam Howell had a touchdown. Who had the other touchdown?
I think it was Brian Robinson.
Right.
It was him and then Sam Howell. They were both rushing touchdowns, I believe, because Sam Howell's was the little bootleg out to the left. I don't remember what Brian Robinson's was, but I'm pretty sure it was him.
I think you are. No, you're right. So Sam Howell, there was a touchdown to Brian Robinson. That was where basically our guy kind of sunk in and went for Howell, but he ended up throwing it to Brian Robinson. So he got
yeah.
And then Sam Howell rushed for the second one.
Yeah, okay.
So technically he's got two touchdowns, one rushing, one throwing, one interception, and then 202 passing
fumbles.
Yards. And 2 fumbles. Yeah. It's just definitely not a good look for them. But I mean, I'm honestly curious to hear how the Commanders feel about this game, because they thought they're going to blow us out. They thought
everybody in DC thought this was, or not DC, but everyone in Washington thought this was going to be a flood. Wasn't. Not even close.
Nope.
So the concerns for you guys are either up there, and Sam Howell is not what he's meant to be, or this is just game one with Eric Bieniemy. They're going to have a lot to figure out too. I want to hear, like, I really do want to hear how the coaches on their staff feel. I want to see how Eric Bieniemy, a super hot-headed, passionate coach, feels about it too, with Sam Howell only going for 199, a touchdown, a pick, and 2 fumbles. I want to know how their fans are feeling too. So if you're a Commanders fan right here, drop some comments, because I'm curious.
Yeah, no, me too. And I think at one point I actually heard the announcer saying that there was booze going on within the Washington Commanders fan base. And I don't blame him, right? All this hype, getting a brand new owner. You think that because you're buying into the national media, keep in mind that like nobody knows the Cardinals other than the people that live in Phoenix or that follow the Arizona Cardinals organization, right? Most people's perception from the Cardinals is they're tanking for Caleb Williams. They suck. They depleted the roster. Everything's terrible, right? And I think that's what they bought into. They bought into the idea that this was going to be an easy cakewalk. Sam Howell is going to have a huge game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 300 yards. And that just wasn't the case. They struggled mightily against our defensive line. I'm so curious to figure out what their thoughts are. Like, are they happy with?
Because they got the win, but it's not what they expected. It's not one of those blowout wins that everyone was talking about, like a 31-15, a 31-10. They didn't get it. You barely cracked 20 points, and it was a lot of self-inflicted errors on our end. Yeah. If you don't get that pass interference, you're not getting a touchdown there. You're not marching 60 yards. I have no confidence at all that they go 60 yards without that PI.
Oh, 100%. Sam Howell, he didn't look that good. He looked rattled. I mean, I don't blame him.
He didn't look much better than Josh Dobbs. Genuinely,
he didn't. No, he
didn't. And that's saying something, because we're very harsh on someone who's been here for 2 weeks. Sam Howell's been there for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, and this is his sophomore season. Granted, it's his second start in the NFL, but Josh Dobbs has started 3. He hasn't looked much better. Like, they're basically in the same tier. And Dobbs didn't throw the pick.
Yeah.
He fumbled 3 times, but he didn't throw a pick, and he could have had a touchdown. So, I mean, the stat lines could have looked very similar this game, and it would have been very interesting because, I don't know, Sam Howell just doesn't look great. He just doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think that somebody in the comment here says easily if Kyler Murray was playing, we would have won. No doubt, right?
No doubt.
Damn.
It sucks. It does.
It does. We might be having to, if it doesn't get better, right? Here's the thing. If they continue to go Josh Dobbs, okay, let's I'm me as a fan, I'm willing to see one more week of Josh Dobbs and see what he can do. If this continues, something's got to give, because we can't give Kyler 0-4 and they save us again.
Absolutely. You can't just throw him back into, listen, I know you tore your ACL or whatever, but come save the season. Like, if you want Kyler to come in here and you genuinely want him to win you football games, you can't give him an 0-4 start. He might come in and win football games, but you throw him into the fire 0-4, the season's basically dead. Go undefeated is basically what you're asking. You go 2-2, you're in the hunt. You're in the hunt at 2-2, and you can come back and win football games if this defense performs like how they're performing. But we are not winning games. So you got to be ready to throw. You have to be ready to throw Clayton Tune in. I even saw people saying Colt McCoy's washed up 38-year-old self could have came in here and played better. And I was dying because, like,
that's funny.
Who knows, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, man, we're all just kind of talking at this point. But
right?
Here are our next 3 games. Giants, Cowboys, 49ers. You see the 49ers today? They crushed. They crushed the Steelers.
It's crazy because I like Kenny Pickett, but they made him look like trash. 1 yard at halftime. They had 1 total yard at halftime. That is insane. On an NFL level, I don't care how bad you are. I don't care if you're the 0-7 Detroit Lions or the 0-16 or the 0-16 Lions or the 0-16 Browns. I don't care who you are. 1 yard in an NFL game. Yeah, that is insane.
Or the tanking Cardinals.
Yeah, the 2023 tanking right? Cardinals. Come on, the tanking Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's
Do you have faith? Not faith. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this question. Are the Cardinals going to get the first overall pick? I saw worse teams. I saw worse teams.
And the teams that people are projecting to be bad, like the Rams, smacked the Seahawks today.
Thank God.
Reality check, 34-10 or something like that. Clapped them. And then you also have the Buccaneers. People are saying they're going to be awful, but if you look at their roster, they have talent.
Yeah.
They have talent everywhere. So the defensive side is talented, the offensive side is talented. Baker Mayfield played good. They beat the Vikings. The team that people are projecting to win 10 plus games, once again, they beat them. And then the Cardinals came out here, and although we didn't win, 4-point loss could have swung our way too, and we could have been one of those teams that people are talking about. I'm like, oh, wow. Maybe we did get it all wrong. So there's a lot of teams that could be worse. The Texans look like what we kind of predicted the Texans to be. Panthers.
First overall pick, the NFL draft from that Texans pick.
And we got
I guess the question should have been, yes, you do see it because the Texans suck.
Yeah. I think that is a legit possibility because I do think the Texans will be worse than us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
We showed fight today. That's definitely something that we can hang our hat on. We showed fight. Although, yes, we're going to, hit our head into the wall with an almost touchdown from Zach Ertz. Joshua Dobbs not seeming to want to throw the ball deep down the field. If they can clean it up, hopefully we can be competitive against the Giants. Got to be positive, right?
Yeah. That's a game that could be up in the air.
I agree. What is something else? Let's take it to the chat unless you have something else.
Yeah, let's take it to the chat.
Okay. Let's take it to the chat here. Let's see what you guys have to say. We got my guy Ian saying Texans pick looking really good right now.
That's looking phenomenal.
Facts. Let's see here. CB says some things never change, like Pat Pete getting toasted while running his mouth. I think he was projecting an interception. Yeah, and apparently he got burned like toast.
I believe he gave up a touchdown on the. I don't remember who it was to, but he definitely gave up a touchdown. I watched it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, it sucks, man, because I like Patrick Peterson.
I do too.
And that's
I get so much hate for liking him too.
Me too. Oh, me too. I like Patrick Peterson. He was one of our best first round picks in the 2010s. One of the best and lockdown corner we had. It's just unfortunate the way that
his career transpired and how everything is going.
Yeah, it sucks because I do like him still, even to the day, regardless if he's in the Steelers or he was playing for the Vikings. He did a lot of great things for the Arizona Cardinals, and I get hate for it too, but it's okay. I don't mind. I know a good player that played for us and gave it their all when I see one, and the Cardinals never really gave him a solid number 2 other than Antonio Cromartie, but
really. That was for one season.
Yeah.
And it looked great, and then they both made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And then we just couldn't pair him with anybody else. So it sucks. Yeah. I still like him. I think I'll always like him, unless he just comes out here and just starts bashing it. Because he was bashing the GM more than anything, which
everybody hates the GM.
Everyone hates him. Like you got to realize this guy was going into the organization and dealing with this man. You had to deal with Keim. Like, we don't even deal with this man on an internal level. We see it from the external, and we don't like him. So just imagine what it is like working for this guy. Can't be too nice. It really can't.
Agreed. Yeah. See, chat. I got a Mythic agrees, and you're 100% right. He never said anything about the Cardinals organization or the fan base, right?
I don't know why he has never came out and said anything about the fans. It's just been GM and people within the organization. That's it. And he could have been back. He really could have. He wanted to be here. He really did. And Keim just ghost mode.
What was that? That there was a season ticket holder. Forgot what his name was.
Oh, they left a note in his locker. Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm not gonna read my tickets if you bring him back.
Like, it's so stupid. Like, I get it. Like, the PED thing jacked everything up.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
like, I would still like to have him back. He's still a leader at the end of the day. People respect him. I mean,
yeah, I agree. Let's talk about another player that's kind of was coming to the Arizona Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins. He ended up going to the freaking Texans.
What did he do?
Sorry, not the Texans. I apologize. The Titans.
The Titans.
Yeah. I know they lost today. Let me see. What was the stat line? Did you take a look into it?
I did not. So let's go ahead and look at that.
Yeah, let me look at it right now.
Oh, wait, this is 2022.
So the Titans lost by 1 point. So they lost to the Saints. His stat line, 7 receptions, 65 yards. I mean, that's not bad for a game.
Bad.
No, not bad. I thought it was worse than that.
His projected lines this season, too, are like 560 something. So
really?
Yeah, I think I cashed it at like 500. I saw that and was like, we're going to make some money off this because he's not washed. If he stays healthy, he's cashing that so easily. So
yeah, 7 receptions, 65 yards. Now, granted, they didn't win. He didn't get a touchdown, but that's not bad for a team that's known as run.
I guarantee Henry had 20 plus carries today. Or 15 carries, 63 yards.
15.
Tannehill.
15 carries and then 2 receptions.
Oh my goodness. You looking at the game Tannehill had? He had a 10 QBR.
Oh, 16 out of 34. 3 interceptions,
198 with a 28 passer rating and a 10 QBR. Huh.
You think we could trade Dobbs for a 3rd round pick to the Titans? Let's flip that. Flip it.
It's crazy, though, how D-Hop decides he wants to go play for a contender, right? A contender. And he goes and picks Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill. I'm not going to sit here and act like Ryan Tannehill is not like the epitome of average.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing. I think earlier this week, he actually mentioned that there was like teams that didn't want him.
Yeah, like
the Lions didn't want him.
49ers, the Cowboys, the Lions. He's like, none of these teams wanted me. I'm going to make them pay. Like, bro, you went to the Titans. You could have, at that point, just stay here. You
Dude,
know what I mean?
seriously, we could have used
Like,
you.
just stay here. Like, you have a better quarterback, you have a better situation, you're gonna get more targets. Like, I don't know. I feel like it made sense, but you can't really control at the end of the day. I thought he was gonna go sign with a contender. I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna go to Kansas City. I was predicting Kansas City or Baltimore. I was like, he's gonna go somewhere where he can go have a connection with another quarterback and just ball out. Like, he's not going to a place like Philly. There's a lot of teams that are stacked on receivers, but Kansas City, it makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney just sold them a game because they don't have a receiver. They lose Travis Kelce, they have nothing.
Dude,
So
Kadarius Toney is trash.
awful.
Looking at like completely different game here, the Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. Although the Baltimore Ravens did win, Lamar Jackson didn't look that good either.
No, he did not. And then Odell had, I believe, one catch or something, if I'm not mistaken. Zay Flowers, I've been very high on him. I think he
Yeah.
fell out. Zay Flowers has just looked insane all camp long for them. Even in like the joint practices, he's looked crazy. So every fantasy league I've done, late round snag, Zay Flowers.
Nice. Yeah, I think when it comes down to it here, there's definitely some games where a lot of teams look bad. Joey B, man, Joe Burrow did not have a good game. The Bengals lost to the Browns.
Off a payday. They put up 3 points, I believe. That is not a good look. Yeah, 3 points for Joe Shiesty on 14 to 31, 82 yards. 82 yards.
That is wild. So I guess we are not
alone.
Yeah, we're not alone. That's a good
not
thing.
Alone.
There was a lot of struggling offenses, and I could tell because my fantasy team wasn't producing
right?
I thought they were going to.
Yeah. Projecting 30 points under the line is not really where I thought I'd be.
Yeah. A lot of people. Somebody in the chat says Dobbs greater than Joe Burrow. Jeez. Here's where we're at now, right? Per the stats. Yeah, I agree.
Per stat. I mean, you can't argue with numbers. Numbers are right.
Yeah, what an unfortunate J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles.
And then Marcus Williams, are starting free safety, tore his pec.
Wait, the Ravens too?
Yeah.
Dude, they just go through some mad injuries.
I feel so bad for Dobbins, dude. He's so good when on the field, but he just keeps coming out with injury after injury after injury after injury. And it's just so unfortunate because he's so good. He just can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Oh, man. Let's take a look at here real quick just before we let everybody go. I want to see what this Cowboys game is. Just, I'm not going to be watching. I just want to see 26-0 at halftime still.
Yeah, I'm not tuning into that. Let's see what Daniel Jones is doing.
5 for 13, 43 yards, 2 interceptions. Y'all, we might have a win next week, y'all. Give us that, Daniel Jones.
Right. And what's crazy is Dak Prescott, 7 of 14, 91 yards. He's not like nobody's doing anything.
Nothing.
What in the world?
What is
even Barkley's not doing anything.
Tony Pollard's got 7 carries, 17 yards, 1 touchdown.
Wow.
That's wild.
So no one in this game besides, I guess, CeeDee Lamb and Darren Waller are really doing much.
Yeah.
And even CeeDee Lamb just has 1 reception. It's just a big gain.
It's crazy.
It's a very unpredictable week 1.
Let's answer this question here real quick. Let's say the Arizona Cardinals obviously aren't tanking, but they're not doing so hot. And by the time trade deadline gets here, it's a heavy hole to get out of. We got somebody in the chat says, "What would you be willing to do to trade Budda Baker? Or what would you?"
Oh my gosh! I think the minimum that I would even accept, it starts with the 2nd round pick.
Yeah,
starts with the 2nd. If it's not a 2nd, that phone is getting hung up.
Yeah,
and. Cool. Budda, you're going to stay on here. You're going to stay on this team and you're going to rebuild. Right. No one wants you bad enough. I'm sorry.
We would all love a Jamal Adams type of trade back, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen after that fleece. There's no chance. But I think the minimum, like absolute minimum, and it's going to have to come with more, is a 2nd round pick.
I agree. Last one here. Does this hurt? We need Lamb. CeeDee Lamb.
It does. Dallas, just send him over. What do you want? What do you want, Dallas?
Pair him back with Kyler. Come on.
Dallas, you throw us a first-round pick and CD Lamb, and we'll give you the number one. You throw us the first round in like 2 years, and then CD Lamb, and then something else, and then we'll give you the number one. You gotta just pile it on.
Agree.
I need CD Lamb in my life, dude. I cannot stand the fact that an 18-year-old me would have gone back and done it. I would have done it. That was my pick. I was like, do everything you can to get CD. But Steve Keim is just so dead set on his stupid freaking inside linebackers, outside linebackers from small name schools, dude. And quarterbacks who don't pan out. Like, oh, freaking Steve Keim, dude. Haunts us to this day.
Calling him Thanos, man. That man was Thanos. That's who he was.
The reverse Thanos.
Yeah, right. Destroyed us. All right, man. We're going to close up shop here. We made it to the hour mark. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate you guys. Everybody that is interactive in the chat, all the super chatters, appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. We're going to close shop here. Have a great rest of the day. Hopefully next week brings us better luck against the Giants, but let's close shop. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. As always, go Cards.
Peace.